What's up everyone, Alex here. So last week, I released a video containing 45 of the most anticipated JRPGs of 2024. But a lot of you were asking me which 10 I was actually looking forward to. So in this video, I'm going to rank 10 of my most anticipated JRPGs of 2024 so that way you know which ones to really look forward to. Because while a list of 45 most anticipated JRPGs can be helpful for some, I know some of you really want me to just dial it down to a digestible chunk so that you know which games to look forward to. And as I found out last year, y'all love ranked lists, and this is gonna be one of those lists. So I'm really excited to talk about all these games, so let's just jump right into it. Selecting which game would be in the 10th spot was actually the most difficult part of making this list, but I finally settled with the fact that Beastie Ball is deserving of its inclusion in this illustrious list. The game is slated to come out sometime this year on PC, and while it's not a traditional JRPG in the slightest, Beastie Ball does combine turn-based gameplay with monster taming and volleyball. And as a fan of Haikyuu, the thought of managing my team of volleyball-playing monsters and engaging in a turn-based battle in a different way than other games on this list were just some of the reasons why it belongs in this list. And there's even a playable demo right now if you want to try it out. Ranked at number 9 is Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, which finally has a solid release date, which is coming out on April 23rd on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. So many of you in the comments have urged me to play through the first two Suikoden games to experience firsthand why Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is such a big deal, particularly because it is made by some of the people responsible for the aforementioned games. And while Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster doesn't even have a date as of this recording, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes is finally coming out after a lengthy wait. This game features 100 playable characters, each with their own elaborate backstories, as well as turn-based combat that is sure to be one of the best of the year. And I for one can't wait for this game to light up my PS5 once it's finally released. And I can already tell, judging by the trailers alone, that I'm gonna have an incredible time playing through this one. Ogre Battle March of the Black Queen on the SNES was prohibitively expensive when I was young, so I never really got a chance to play it. But thanks to Unicorn Overlord, I might be able to experience why the aforementioned game was such a big deal. This turn-based tactical JRPG is slated to come out on March 8th on PlayStation platforms, Series X and S, and Switch, and it heavily borrows elements from Ogre Battle. That basically means that Unicorn Overlord's combat is set out on the field, with both friendly and enemy units moving to and fro, and battles happening when the two collide. The choice of borrowing this style of gameplay from Ogre Battle naturally fits Vanillaware's signature art and animation style, all beautifully rendered in gorgeous high resolution that amplifies the quality and detail that they painstakingly put in every game. I'm a huge Vanillaware fan, so hearing that this is gonna play like a game I've never played before excites me to no end, and the wait isn't gonna be too long either. Speaking of games that won't take too long until its release, Granblue Fantasy Relink is coming out on February 1st on PlayStation platforms and PC. This has been a long time coming, and I was following this project all the way back when Platinum Games was originally attached to this project. And yes, I was a little scared when they got removed, but the latest trailers proved to me that its developers were up to the task of making an action-packed Granblue fantasy adventure that it clearly shows every single time it makes an appearance. And from what I can tell, the underlying progression system is based around a power level system that gauges your preparedness for the mission you're about to take on. I'm actually thinking of making a video summarizing everything we know about the gameplay of this game. No spoilers, of course. So if you want me to make this, please let me know in the comments below. But perhaps the best part of Granblue Fantasy Relink is playing the game with your friends online. Though you will be able to play the entire game offline, whether by yourself or with the AI characters. Perhaps one of the most unique JRPGs to come out this year, Decapolice combines investigative gameplay with turn-based JRPG combat, when it comes out on PlayStation platforms and Switch this year. Now, we know that the game is going to be set in both the real world and a virtual world, but what really fascinates me about this game is how it actually utilizes both worlds to create this fantastical sci-fi JRPG experience that has both turn-based combat and detective elements that you don't really see in JRPGs. Like, the closest we've ever gotten to something similar to this was last year's Master Detective Archives Raincode, though that leaned more on the Danganronpa style of gameplay than an actual traditional JRPG. And that is why I'm actually looking forward to Decapolice, because let's face it, Level 5 is a great developer of JRPGs, and this is certainly one of those games to look forward to. Yakuza Like a Dragon was a game that I replayed twice over because I absolutely loved the story, the turn-based gameplay, and the job system. I mean, what other job-based game out there requires you to go to an unemployment office to get a job? Very kitschy, but I like it because it's kitschy. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth continues Ichiban Kasuga's storyline by revealing that his mom is still alive and in the United States, and that she wants to meet him. So basically, Ichiban goes to the United States along with his new pals and gets naked? That's really strange. But I'm not just looking forward to the continuation of Ichiban's story. There's also a lot of really cool features, like Kiryu being able to just destroy people as if you were playing a Yakuza game. And yes, I can actually say that because Yakuza is nowhere in the title, as well as the ability to slightly move your characters when you're trying to input your actions. I know that that's a very slight change, but it's a game changer. Either way, it won't be long now because it's coming out on January 26th on PlayStation and Xbox platforms and PC, and I really can't wait for this game. Another game that I'm looking forward to is Visions of Mana, which is coming out 2024 on PlayStation platforms, Series X and S, and PC. I am a huge fan of the full 3D remake of Trials of Mana, and I kid you not, when I saw the trailer for Visions of Mana during the Game Awards, I leapt out of my seat and I just exclaimed a yell that was just probably heard by my neighbors. Visions of Mana is basically a full realization of the Mana series in full 3D form. Looks like it's got explorable environments, open worlds, but we don't really know much about the game apart from the trailer, which, if this follows older Mana games, it's gonna have tons of really cool gameplay options, maybe the return of the Trials of Mana job system or something like that, and hopefully multiple playable party members, because the trailers only showed like one character that you're controlling, but I'm hoping that there's others as well. And you know what? If those party members don't even appear alongside you during combat, that's fine with me. Either way, this is one of those games that I'm really looking to find new information for, and you can bet that we're gonna report on those as soon as they're available. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is coming out on February 29th on PS5. I literally could just say that and you know exactly what's happening here. Following the events of Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth takes you away from Midgar and into the open world to discover all of the hidden truths and maybe modifications to the Final Fantasy story that, to be quite honest, I'm really intrigued by. There are so many theories about what's going to happen in the game and lots of trailer dissections that really demonstrate the passion and the interest level in this game that it just truly blows me away. I'm actually in the middle of replaying through Final Fantasy VII Remake because I want to approach it away from the zeitgeist of its original release, and it's been a long enough time that relearning many of its systems might actually be really fun this time around. And yes, I am one of those purists who love turn-based Final Fantasy VII, but there's something that clicked with me the last time I played Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I'm probably going to make a separate video talking about that in the future. One of the games that I've been looking forward to playing for years, and there's a lot of them in this list, is Trails Through Daybreak, which is probably coming out summer 2024. Like, NAS says it's mid-2024, but I think it's really summer, and it's coming out on PlayStation platforms, Switch, and PC. Trails Through Daybreak, or Kuro no Kiseki in Japanese, is the start of the Calvard arc. And what's noteworthy about Trails Through Daybreak is that not only is it going to have a brand new engine in a brand new section of the world, but it also combines Ys-inspired action gameplay with the classic Trails turn-based combat. Now, I know that some of you have already played through this game, but for the rest of us who are pining for this game to come out in the West officially, this is a huge deal for us. Yes, I know that Kuro 2 and a whole bunch of other games are coming out right after this, but for now, all of us who have never played this game, this is the Trails game that we've been looking forward to the most. And just seeing gameplay of the brand new graphics engine just makes me so hyped to play this game. And best of all, this is a new starting point for people who have never played the Trails series before, so this is definitely one of those games that I'm gonna keep an eye out for, especially for a concrete release date. And the last game on this list, which tops at number 1, is Metaphor ReFantazio, coming out in fall 2024 on PlayStation platforms, Series X and S, and PC. So, to kind of give you a backstory of this a little bit, Katsura Hashino, who is the director of Metaphor, used to direct some of the most revered and beloved Shin Megami Tensei titles released over the past 2 decades, which is Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne, Digital Devil Saga 1 and 2, Persona 3, Persona 4, and Persona 5. So needless to say, he knows a thing or two about turn-based combat, especially with his resume. Now you add in character designer Shigenori Sojima, as well as Shoji Meguro, who has partnered with Hashino in making music ever since Nocturne, and it just feels as though Metaphor ReFantazio is an instant shoo-in for Game of the Year for JRPGs. And what's more is that the more we dig into the trailers, the more we see that, much like Trails Through Daybreak, Metaphor ReFantazio also has a blend of action combat with turn-based gameplay. I'm kind of liking this because, at least from what I've seen in Metaphor, they have Dynasty Warriors style battles that populate the screen with a ton of enemies, and if you're confronted with an enemy with a lot of HP, you basically have this option to go into turn-based combat, calling your party members alongside you in order to defeat this really difficult opponent. And just hearing that, it sounds really natural that that would be the logical progression for something like this. And if I really think about grinding, I think I'd much rather be grinding using action gameplay, defeating a bunch of enemies quickly, so that way I can get up to a particular level so I can defeat a really difficult opponent via turn-based gameplay. This all makes a lot of sense, and again, I haven't played either game, and this is all speculation, but come on, Katsura Hashino seems like he knows what he's doing. And this, and many other reasons that I probably forgot about, is why Metaphor ReFantazio is my number 1 most anticipated JRPG of 2024. And that, my friends, is my top 10 most anticipated JRPGs of 2024. And this year is so stacked that there's so many JRPGs coming out this year that I've been looking forward to for literal years. So out of these 10, I want to know which one you're looking forward to the most. Post your thoughts in the comments below and let's talk about it. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.